Good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. We're so excited to be here. Welcome to Open-Minded Mystics. Today is Monday, December 13th. I cannot believe we are 2 weeks away from our next Open-Minded Mystics Mastermind. I've been practicing saying that, and it is going to be amazing. I am so happy. Please let me introduce to you. This is Tracy Locke, voice of the audience. I'm Donna V, your host. And of course, we have life coach and light docent Kim Mazzella. What's up, ladies? How are we doing this Monday evening?
Woohoo, Kim, you go first because I've got a lot of news.
I am doing so well. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. I've been looking forward to it all week, as I always do. I'm looking forward to all that we're going to learn today, and especially our special guest. I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet her. It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be great. Before we get into our special guest, I want to remind everyone that's watching, first of all, welcome if it's your first time here. If not, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us again. I see you coming into the room. One of the things that we really love and we really appreciate is if you could please subscribe to us on YouTube, like our page, share our page, because we know just like the way that you found us, somebody else out there is looking to find us also and become part of the tribe. If you want to become one of the Open-Minded Mystics Mastermind group members, I just want to let you know that we still have space. And here's the flyer. Tracy Locke, you want to read that for me?
It is so beautiful. We have orange. Orange is our color. And Donna, you'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the Open-Minded Mystics presents our OMM Mastermind group. As Donna said, it's December 27th, which is always a Monday. This time we are doing 7:30 to 9. So we've opened it up because we have so much to say and do. And we are doing the winter solstice. I love how you spelled solstice. Note that. Clearing and creating, preparing for the new year. It is going to be epic. Of course, we're all so excited for the new year coming. We're so excited to go to the next level, take our energy and ourselves and our friends to that next level. And the best way to do that is to clear and create and prepare. And that's what we'll be doing in the mastermind. And it's only $20 a session. Each session includes a lecture, interactive workshop, group discussion, and meditation. And the meditation did not disappoint. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be thrilled just for the meditation, but there's so much more to it than that. It was phenomenal.
It was epic. Kim should be really the one that's going to explain why it's orange. Kim, why don't you tell everybody why we went with the color orange this time?
Because it's pretty.
We're going to be clearing and we're going to be creating. And really, we're going to be working with that orange creation, that the second chakra, which is really all about creating. And so we decided orange would be the perfect color because it's all about like letting go of the old, creating the new, and centering it in the center of creation, which is that warm, yummy orange center of our second chakra, which is our sacral chakra, which is located in our lower belly, where I call it the center of motivation in the body, where we really move forward in life. And I can't wait. I'm really excited.
I'm excited.
And I just want to mention, I do love the meditation. So we're going to be creating, we're going to be letting go of what doesn't work anymore. We're going to be, so you're going to come in, you're going to meet us. We're going to tell you what we're all about again. And then you're going to introduce yourself and you're going to affirm your soul goal. And we're going to really be working with what your soul goal is. And in order to do that, we're going to let what I call a vent, which we're going to learn about this next week. We're going to learn how to do a vent, which is a really proper way of bringing up what doesn't work for you anymore. Because, we talk about manifesting, how we should only talk about what we want, right? Only talk about what we want. But you've got all that stuff kicking around in there of what you don't want. So what do you do with it? Do you just pretend it's not there? Well, I call it a ventilation, which is a interesting way to say venting it up in a specific way in order to release it and recreate it. And I'm going to teach you an exact process to do it. And it's going to start next week too, because we're going to start it before we meet. So
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
That will definitely afford us more time to have more interaction, because if you were one of the amazing people that were there for our first mastermind class, you know that it felt like the time went like that. And by the time we got to the meditation, we were like, wait, we need more time. So we had a little meeting and discussed the fact that we are going to increase the time, not the cost, but we're going to increase the time. And because we want to make sure that you get the information. We're going to do a little homework the week before. So next week, we'll be discussing venting and clearing so that we can have so much more time to interact with each other and the group. And I just want to say, as people are coming in, good evening, Jerry Reesby. Welcome. He says hi. Thank you so much.
Howdy, Jerry.
I know what's going on. And then Kathy's here. Oh, I love it. I'm so happy that you're here. And
Kathy.
Connie from down south is here. Oh, it's so awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
It was so great to get to meet everyone, and so many of the people that watch every week that are there were in the group, and it was so great to actually put a face to a name, which was really fun. And it was just, I got so much out of it. And I know I spoke to a couple of people that were in the group, and they were just so thrilled with the fact that there was a lesson and there was a discussion and there was a meditation.
Yeah.
So I just don't want that to go unknown to people, that there's all different types of modalities. Like we're learning in all these different types of modalities. So if one doesn't appeal to you, another will. But it was just so nice to be in a group and to see other people's faces. That's what's so sweet. I know we're all missing out on that, and we're all in just different variations of still
getting back.
Getting back, still in quarantine, not working from home. So it was just nice to get together and really just talk out loud and get to see people again, and tribe. And as we say tribe, how crazy it is that Donna and I just showed up in this sweater. We did not talk to each other.
You couldn't plan this. You couldn't plan. I mean,
if we wanted to. I didn't even know you owned a sweater like that.
I
just got this for the holidays. I was like, happy holidays in my red and black.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I also want to remind everyone that we're still really excited about the fact and the possibility of recording the meditation so that we can have it. We will never record any of the other parts of the mastermind class because we do believe in complete anonymity and privacy. So that would not be recorded, but we are really strongly hoping and manifesting and hoping to magnetize the fact that you all will be like, yes, we're going to record just that part and send it to only the people that participated, so that through the week, you can re-listen to the amazing voice of Kim Mazzella and her awesome meditation, because it's personalized. So you get to hear that part about yourself. And when you're feeling a little bit like maybe you need a pick-me-up, I mean, how amazing is it? I love just the random meditations that I do anyway, but the idea that, you can actually re-listen to the meditation that was in our personalized group, I honestly think that it's like dessert over and over.
Yeah. But go ahead, Kim, what were you going to say?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. But as much as it's personalized, you're not sitting around waiting for your turn. The reason why it's personalized is each person, we come together and we lift everybody up in the meditation. So when you're not being the one being lifted, you're also the one lifting. So it's about connection, and really, so the entire thing is you're very, very involved in. So, and it's relaxing, which is kind of sounds strange, because how can you relax when you're so actively involved in it? But I promise you, if you walk through it once, you'll understand that it is the most relaxing way to connect with other people. And it's just such a great way to connect with other people in a very personal way and to be supported. So what I love about the meditation is not only is it's personalized with a specific goal of supporting everybody, so that we are constantly creating support for each other. Okay.
Yeah, which is really nice. And that's one of the things that I noticed, as I said last week, and the viewers know this because I talk about it all the time. As the resident, newbie and sometimes skeptic, I definitely have monkey mind, where when I love to meditate, I actually do. And I've started that practice since we've started Open-Minded Mystics, and it's invaluable in my life. But during Kim's meditation, I was glued to my seat. I felt so grounded and rooted, and I didn't want to move, and I wasn't thinking about anything else or anyone else or what else I had to be doing at that time. It was so refreshing to just be in one place and not want to be anywhere else, which very, very, very rarely happens to me. So kudos to you, Kim. And I just want to say that to the people out there. This is a really deep meditation where you actually do feel as though, you are connected to other people.
You really
feel it. I wanted to say something because I know we're going to introduce our guests in a little bit, but I want to tell the people out there a little bit about our guests so they can go and tell a friend and say, you've got to check this out. Because
share it now
before we do the big intro. Okay.
Wow.
So we have Kelle on our show. Kelle Sparta is going to be our guest. She is amazing. I just want to say a couple of things. We're going to do a big intro for her, but this is not the big intro. This is the intro to say, if you've got a friend that might be interested in this, which when I tell you a little bit about her, you're definitely going to want to be introduced. So don't put anything up. We're going
I'll wait. I got excited. I'm sorry.
Kelle is a spirit doctor. She's a transformational shaman. She is here to help us unlock hidden aspects of our potential and master energy to take us to next level results. So all I have to say to you is the spirit doctor, transformational shaman. I just want to tell you this too. She has a podcast, which is in the top 25 metaphysical podcasts must follow in 2021 called The Spirit Sherpa. If those things don't entice you, I don't know what's going to. I got the information up from Kelle and I was like, what? I cannot wait to talk to her. So she's going to be on in about 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
So you have 5 minutes.
Ask you and tell you is you've got 5 minutes. Tell a friend who tells a friend who tell a friend. You do not want to miss this. We have her on the show today. She's gracious enough to come on and I'm so excited. We've got a million questions. As you know, as the resident audience person, I've got a bunch of questions to ask, but we're going to hit all levels because she did ask, what's the level of the audience? And I said to her, we have the newbie, we have the intermediate, and we have the expert. So we want to hit all those levels. So tell everyone, tune in. It's happening.
And just so you know, while you're watching, I did put all of her socials and the links in the comments. If you need them again, I will put them up again, but they should be in the comments at the top, underneath whatever page you're watching. And also, please feel free to write a comment to ask Kelle. If you are asking to remain anonymous, please put that with your comment that you don't want it posted. Otherwise, if you don't put anything or indicate anything about wanting to remain anonymous, I will post the question up on the screen when I can. Remember, this is interactive. We love this. We want you to continue to follow her and check her out because I know I am going to be following her after this and listening to. I am so excited. I'm like buzzing in my seat. And I just wanted to add. I wanted to add one other thing, just quickly about going back to the meditation. The best part was I've been going through that meditation for a long time. You're in your house. Until we bring this back to live, the one bonus and benefit, and I know Connie Bailey Blake was in her car with her kids at a soccer field, but how nice was it if you were in your home and you got to do that meditation and at the end you were like, click, and you went to sleep. Because so many times I've left a freezing cold space after like meditating and I'm like, I don't want to go in my car. I just want to stay overnight where we are, wherever it was. So we have big announcements coming up this spring because we are talking about putting some live things in the works, ladies and gentlemen. But, right now we're just so happy to be able to reach so many people via the internet, which is great.
Yeah. And we get people that we never would get because let's be honest, Connie lives very far from here. So, so I mean, she may fly in for some of those things and that would be workshops. Great if it did it, Connie. But if she can't make it, she can always go click and come on. It's so simple.
Yeah. Eric's asking if we could please send some energy his way. We could definitely do that, Eric.
Totally.
Absolutely. We could just all close our eyes for a second. Just picture Eric and wherever he is. Just everybody think about warm, loving light going in his direction and whatever he needs that he's lifted up in light. And that is done.
I love it. I love the request. Like we said, interactive is best. It's so much fun. We love to get to know you and ask questions. No, there are no stupid questions, especially on Open-Minded Mystics, hence the name Open-Minded. So we want you to just, ask where you are, wherever the level is. Don't be afraid to ask, hey, I don't understand what this means. If I don't ask it and I forget to ask it, or I assume that everyone knows it, do not be afraid to ask that. And Kelle, when we spoke to her, I did a pre-interview with her and she's terrific. And there are no stupid questions, which I'm so excited about. So this is going to be epic, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it's time for the intro.
Okay. All right. Can we get a drum roll, please?
Can we? Do you need me to put anything up for you?
Yes. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Open-Minded Mystics is so proud to present the Kelle Sparta, the Spirit Doctor. She is a shaman. She's a coach. She's an energy healer, a psychic, a medium, a channel, an empath, and founder of the Sacred Power and Purpose Mystery School, which I cannot wait to ask her about. She's an international speaker and a co-host of Spirit Sherpa Podcast, which was voted top 25 metaphysical podcasts in 2021. She does it all. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, turn your earbuds up, get ready to tell all your friends it is Kelle Sparta! Woo! Kelly, how do you like them apples?
Kelly.
The best introduction I have ever gotten.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that was a
God.
great one.
I feel like I'm
Seriously.
stepping into the wrestling ring. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Kel, let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to manifest.
Yes, exactly. Kelly, you look fantastic. I'm loving the yellow. Donna and I, like we said, we didn't even plan the red, and you and Kim have the black. It's
The navy blue.
oh,
I
is it
think.
navy blue?
I
Yep.
think. Yeah,
I
it
don't
looks
know.
great.
Navy
I'm
blue,
gray
navy
and
black.
Black.
Okay.
All good.
All right. So we are thrilled to have you. And there's so many questions that we have. First of all, we love the name, the Spirit Doctor. And can you just tell us? So we're just going to start at the very beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I gave that an unbelievably epic intro of all the things that you can do. But go ahead and just fill us in on how we all got started.
So, yeah, I was raised in the New Age movement. My mother brought home personal growth and development stuff and mystical stuff from the time I was 5 years old. She had been psychic in her youth and had gotten scared of it and shut it down. I was absolutely committed to the idea that I needed to not get afraid of it. And so she made it normal for me. And so my entire childhood was studying Seth and Ram Dass and Abraham Hicks and J.C. Knight and, you know, you name it. I've done it. She brought home Est when I was 6 years old,
so cool.
Wow.
which is
That's
the
amazing.
precursor to Landmark, right?
Yeah,
It's the not kinder, gentler version of Landmark, right? And so, you know, I was raised in this and took all these classes and read all these books. I was doing self-hypnosis by the time I was 10. I was reading tarot by the time I was 12. And, you know, I just proceeded. And then I went away to college, took a break from my spirituality, got married to an atheist, and spent 7 years being, you know, Susie businesswoman, you know, realtor. You know, I was like, I basically built the American dream, right?
Right.
And then at my Saturn return at 28, I woke up and went, I freaking hate my life. I hate my life. I have the big house. I have the trophy husband. I have the dog and the 2 cars and the, you know, successful business. And I was president of a Habitat for Humanity affiliate. So I was pillar of my community sort of thing. And I was like, no, just no. Oh, I'm dead
Wow.
inside. And I just razed it all to the ground. I
Wow.
divorced my husband. I made him take the dog. I sold the house. I sold the business. And I moved out of state and lived with a bunch of people I met at the Renaissance Fair.
I love that.
My former
Wow.
business partner said I'd run off and join the circus, and he wasn't quite wrong. So,
Wow. Kelly,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
yeah.
I want
All
to
right,
be
now-
you.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to be you.
We're all
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, how did you? So yes, that's my question. A, what was your trigger to make you realize, oh my God, I'm dead inside? And okay, let's ask that first.
Okay. So I had decided I wanted to transition out of real estate because I was fried. And I was taking a training with Mind Empowerment International, and I was learning how to be a certified coach for them. And the guy who was facilitating it was a Reiki master, which I
Okay.
had never heard of Reiki, oddly, out of all the studies I had done. And things in these worlds are very segmented, and we'll talk about that later. But he was at the training, and he said, my hands are on, somebody needs healing. And he said, I think it's you. And I was like, yeah, that's probably true. And he said, well, why don't we talk after class? And I said, okay. And he came to my hotel room and did an energy healing on me. And in the energy healing, he asked me to just check in with each of my chakras. And when I got to my heart chakra, I had nothing. I was just like, I got nothing. And so he walked me down into my heart chakra, like walking down some stairs into it. And I opened the door and the walls were black and dripping.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
and he's like, what is this about? And I said my husband's name at the time. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm done. Right. Yeah. So that was the moment when I went, my marriage is done. And I went, okay, if my marriage is done, what else has to go too? Because I'm not happy in a lot of other places. And I just looked at it and went, everything. Shunk.
Wow.
And that was it. It was just,
Wow. That's quite a courageous move. Good for
Yes.
you.
it it's so funny. People over the next 4 years would say how courageous I appeared. It didn't feel courageous to me at the time. It was I had to.
It felt
Right.
natural.
Yeah.
Or
I
it
was
felt
just
like you had no
it
choice.
literally felt like cutting the ties that had like, I was like Lilliputians, right? It was like it was tied down like Gulliver, right? I was like, I can't move. All of these expectations, all of these things that I don't want to be doing or tying me down, rip them all out. Yes.
Wow.
Boom, I'm ready to go, right? And then I moved in with these people, and it turned out that they were all shamans and mystics and witches, and and I started learning ritual, and I started learning how to be in a magical circle, and I did I did a huge amount of my own healing work there and facilitated healing for the others in the group. And we were together for 4 years, and then I was clear that it was time for me to go. And I thought I was going to move, and I told them I was leaving, and time came to go, and I couldn't find any place to be. Every apartment I applied for, I was returned down. Nobody was taking me in. I was homeless. And so next thing I know, I was running a teaching circle at the time. And so I was sleeping on a different student's couch every day.
Couch surfing.
Yeah.
For like 6 months. I was doing this. And then I went to a festival, and I thought, okay, I'm moving. I knew when I left that I wasn't coming back. So I quit my job, and I said, I'm moving. I don't know where I'm moving. I gave away everything I owned. And I went to this festival, and I ended up following some people home to Bloomington, Indiana. And we're pulling in at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we passed the sign. I was like, oh, shit. I'm not home. This isn't home. I'm on walkabout. And boom, I was on walkabout, and I knew that I had been on walkabout for 6 months.
Right.
I didn't know, right?
Sure.
But, just before I had left, I had read how you do the bathroom books, and you sit down and you open the book to a random page, and you do divination by book, right? And I had done that. I had opened up a book called Lame Deer Seeker of Visions, and I opened up to a random page, and it said the apprentice shaman before their final vision quest will give away everything they own. And I had just scheduled my giveaway.
Wow.
I have chills everywhere.
Wow. That is amazing.
That is a resounding yes.
I was
from the
freaking
universe.
out. Yeah.
That's
So-
amazing.
Well, now, how did you
for
know?
6 months.
Yeah, Kelly. So, how did you know when you saw Bloomington, Illinois? How did you know that wasn't where you were supposed to be, meaning home?
So some places feel like home, and some things don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. As simple as that.
I
I think sometimes we do. That's why I'm asking, because it's like sometimes I know with me, and we all talk about this. I want the clouds to part and be like, ah, and like this beam to come down, so that I know that this is what. But sometimes it's just as simple as like you just know,
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be. I was really dubious when I was going there, because I don't live far from the water ever.
Okay. Yeah.
I've moved 38 times in my life, and I've never been further than 2.5 hours from the ocean.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And so the idea that I would be in Bloomington, Indiana, and like so far from any sort of major body of water was like beyond my ability to understand. But I was going with it. I was going on faith, and then I pulled in. I was like, rah,
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
go ahead, Adana. Go
No, I
ahead.
just want to say, so where that journey brought you to where you are now living, or is there something in between
no.
there? No. So you continued on the journey.
On the walkabout.
I was on that
35
journey for 14,000 miles. In fact, the opening and closing of my podcast, the song is a song that I wrote while I was on that journey and recorded the moment I got back. My boyfriend at the time had a recording studio in his house. And so he sat me down. I didn't even write the music. He just sat me down, put a drum in the background and said, go and sing it. And I was like, oh, okay. So
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
what was the first sign that you had when you were young that besides the fact that your mom brought this stuff home and you were raised in that environment, which is completely fascinating and I love, but what did you connect to first? Like medium, psychic, what was it that you really connected to first?
My mother said I was talking to ghosts in my crib.
Okay.
So there's that. And then, I did see ghosts and I did talk to ghosts, and the psychic stuff didn't show up until a little later, although I was such an empath. And the healer part was probably the most obvious thing that I noticed first. My mother was studying to be a nurse when my parents got divorced when I was 5.
Okay.
And so I helped her study. And so all of Grey's Anatomy is in the back of my brain somewhere and occasionally comes flying out of my mouth, and I'll go to look it up and it's like, holy crap, that was right.
We're going to need to intubate that stuff.
No idea,
like,
right?
Where'd that come from, Kelly?
Yeah. And so, I was always doing healing work on my mom, massage, just like I just was always tapped in. So I think nobody's ever asked me that question before, so I had to think my way through it. I'm an external processor. Did you notice that? Yeah.
It's okay.
To talk
great.
it out, to think about it.
That's perfect. Yeah. I'm just so fascinated by it. And I always wonder when I meet someone that is, psychic or medium, like when they just find out. Like, I just think that's fascinating. That's all. So
yeah, there is a moment where I knew I was psychic.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, I could tell you that story if you want that. But
yeah.
Okay. All right. So I had been going to a spiritualist church shortly after my divorce.
Okay.
And I had made friends with this guy. And in the spiritualist church, part of the service is actually mediumship from the pulpit.
Yes.
Right? And so the person would stand up there and give messages. And then afterwards at the coffee klatch, I would find all the people who had gotten messages and give them the extra stuff that I had gotten when they were getting their messages. And so, I was like, yeah, for whatever it's worth, right? And so this guy who was a friend of mine who watched me do this week after week and had an experience of me doing it for him, called me up one night and said, I run this 2-hour group once a week and my instructor just called in sick and I don't have anybody to teach the class tonight. Can you teach it? And I was like, I'm taking a shiatsu class right now. I could teach you everything I know about shiatsu. And he's like, perfect. And so, I came in, and in an hour and a half of the 2-hour class, I taught everything I knew about shiatsu and I had nothing left. And so he looked at me and he was like, well, just do readings for everybody. I was like, no, I didn't bring my cards. I can't do readings. And he's like, no, you do it all the time for people at church. You just do it. And I was like, no. Right. I was freaking out. I'm like, I don't know these people. I have nothing to go on. I got no cards. I don't know how to do this cold. What are you doing to me? Right.
Sure.
And I finally agreed because they were all like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'll do this with the understanding that absolutely everything I say is probably wrong. And start with that. I'll do this. And they said, okay. And I went through, and one person after another. Now, normally I don't remember readings these days. I don't remember them at all. I'm like half channeling, right? That night freaked me out so much because I was so scarily accurate that I remember every single reading I did.
Wow.
And so it was, one thing after another, and I kept looking for micro expressions and, things that they were wearing that might have given me an indication, and thinking about things that were said earlier in the evening. And I was like, nope, I got no reason to know these things. Like one guy was dressed like a corporate guy and he turned out to be a house painter. And I knew that. And there was somebody else who was the sole caretaker for a parent at home, and somebody who needed to be cared for 24/7. And I had no way of knowing that, I mean, it's just like all these things. And I was like, you're having problems in your marriage. You're going to a marital retreat. You're also going on a camping trip. Yes. And like, you're going to Niagara. And there was one woman in the room at the time who was scared to get a reading, but desperate for a reading. And so when I got to her, all I got was terror. But
Sure.
every time I got something wrong in somebody else's reading, she would go, I'm going to Niagara. And I, with the,
Wow.
I said, you're going
That's
with
wild.
kids camping. And I said, I keep going back and forth between 2 boys, 7 and 9, and then twins who are 19. And she's like, twins are mine. And so everything had gone wrong was something she was shoving into somebody else's reading.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I have a
So
question,
it's just that.
and I hope you can hear me, because
Yes,
We can hear you.
I had technical difficulties in the middle of this. But how do you get your information? Like, is it channeled? Is it just, do you get visions? Do you hear it? Like, how do you get, is it just something you know?
It's so at that time it was just a knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a more robust communication with my guides.
Uh-huh.
And so I have the knowing. I also have, they send me, we've worked out a language of symbology. So like, I know when they send me this image, it means that and whatever. Right. And then they also just talk to me sometimes. So it just depends on the situation, but I've got like 6 different ways I talk to them now. So, and some of it's just straight channeling.
I have an audience question. Sorry for my ignorance. What is the difference between medium and psychic?
Great question, actually. So a medium is someone who talks to the dead, and a psychic is someone who picks up messages from a variety of different venues. So you may pick it up from the person's brain and you read their mind, sort of thing. You may get it from your guides. You may be clairvoyant, where you're looking ahead in the future, or there's lots and lots of different, if you look up the different clairs, CLAIR, there's like 8 different clairs, and that all of those qualify as psychic.
Yep. We've done a whole show on clairaudient, clairvoyant. So our audience should be aware of that stuff, which is awesome. I love that. Go ahead. Who else has a question?
Oh, okay. So then my next question is, maybe I want to hear the rest of the story. So after you left that was the first time you ever did like a live reading. Yeah. How did you go in that direction? So I'd love to know the rest of the story. So did you become a reader first and then go into healing? Like, how did the healing piece come in?
I actually was studying to be a healer at the time, which was why I was doing the shiatsu class.
Right. Okay.
And so I was studying the shiatsu. I was studying to be a Reiki master eventually. I was taking my Reiki classes at the time. And I was doing a lot of, like reading the Barbara Brennan books. And it was very much about doing a healer path. I was doing massage and things like that. And the reading actually didn't come into play until I opened my retail store. I had a spiritual education and healing center that I opened in 1999. And that is where I oddly had to get my fortune teller's license.
Wow.
I didn't even know there was that.
I didn't either until they shut me down from doing readings because I was doing it without a license. And I was like, there's a license for that?
Was that in every state?
No, I don't think so.
Evidently it's fairly common. I just didn't
that's
know
so cool.
That is
that is so interesting.
Is there a school you go to for your fortune teller's license, or you just pay your money?
It is
taxes,
a criminal background check that the state does to make sure that you're not a known con artist.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah,
that's good really to know.
Yeah,
they sent a cop to get a reading from me, and he said no to everything I said, and I went, oh, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I'm right, but if you aren't feeling it, here, have your money back. And he was like, no, you keep it. And I was like, but you said I didn't get it right. And he said, no, go ahead. You're all right. And I was like, okay. And so we sat and chatted for a little bit more. And he started telling me stuff that was going on. I was like, but I said that. And he's like, oh, did you? I figured out later that he was the cop that they sent to make sure that I wasn't scamming people.
That's amazing.
Oh, that is fascinating.
Kelly, I sent you a message if you want to look at the private chat, just so we can make sure.
Sorry, I've got
No,
I have
that's
the
okay.
regular chat up. So
That's
yeah.
okay.
Psychic
Tracy, you have another question?
Yes,
Sure.
I do have a question. Kelly, this is so fascinating. And you're obviously such a powerhouse, which is so exciting for all of us. And we were saying that with your intro, and anyone that's heard your intro, all the amazing things that you do. But you saying that you just took everything and took it to the ground is like, we all want, because it just takes the strength. And especially as a group of this, we have men and women, but I'm speaking directly now to women, to be able to follow your intuition and your inner guide and to say, nope, that's right. I know on paper, I have everything that I'm supposed to have, but in my heart, I don't have everything I'm supposed to have. Where did you find, we touched a little bit about it, but the actual strength to not worry about, I'm sure people try to talk you out of it. I'm sure people were like, what the heck are you doing, Kelly? Or maybe they didn't, but I would assume that they did.
Yeah, they did.
And you had the internal fortitude to be like, nope, I'm following what I know. And where did that come from?
That's a good question. Another one nobody's asked me before. I think there's a point. Now, I want to be really clear. I've always had very strong opinions, and I've always been, my mother basically had me run her life from the time I was 5 years old. So,
Okay.
I was very used to being self-directed, but there came a point where it was do it. I looked at my marriage and I looked ahead in time, right? I looked at my marriage and I said, this will be the only time that I have the choice to get out for the next 10 years. Because if I recommit now, I will not re-question that for at least 10 years. And I went, there is no way I can do this for another 10 years. And I had already been in process in changing careers. I was already training to do something else and so it wasn't that far of a jump to say, yeah, I'm done. I had a couple of friends who I'm still in touch with now, but that was it. And they were not enough to hold me in place. And I was just like, I'm out. I had always seen my life. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Auntie Mame with Rosalind Russell from 1968. But it is a phenomenal movie. If you've never seen it, you should totally see it.
I'll probably watch it tonight.
And watch party, right? And but I had always wanted to be Auntie Mame without the alcohol, was what I said, because she was
now I gotta watch it because that just sounds very interesting,
right? She was this open-minded, free thinker who had very interesting people around her, and musicians and actors, and a life that was full and rich and wild and free. And it was like I always wanted to be that person, and here I was living this very small life in Eastern Connecticut, being a real estate agent and, fighting over, what the next house to build was going to be. And I was just like,
right.
I just can't. I can't live this small life,
Wow.
Yeah.
We do have a question that's going to be coming through from one of our viewers, Ann Iva. Sorry, Ann. I think she's waiting to actually write it. She wanted to ask you a question, a psychic question, and I'm excited to see what she says.
You can put a picture up. It'll be easier for me to tune into her, but I can do it without it too if she really doesn't want to.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we do love when there's a picture up because of the simple fact that we want to make sure that you are an open-minded mystic and not a bot. And I mean that in the most kind way possible, because this is something that we like to, interact and see. And that makes it just feel a little bit more comfortable. And maybe you get an image from just her face.
There we go. Okay. Reconnection.
Okay.
His name is Bob. Okay. So I just need to connect it. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing so that you know how this works. I'm first going to connect into Anna, and then I am going to follow from her. So Anna, just be thinking about Bob, because I'm going to follow your energy to Bob so that I can see him. Okay. All right. There we go. And so the reconnection with the friend. I don't think so. I don't see it. It feels like you are still very attached to him, but he has moved on. And so what I'm going to give you, instead of just saying no, is I'm going to give you a little piece of advice, which is sometimes we get attached to certain people and we feel like they're the only ones who can provide X, Y, or Z in our life, and that we have to have them no matter what. And that is a very limiting way to live. And it also will hold you stuck in being attached to people who aren't giving you back what you need. And oftentimes we do this because we have patterns from childhood that we're playing out. We had a parent who was less than connected. And so we're trying to fix it by having a relationship that we can talk into coming back, right? And so the best way to deal with this is to recognize that there are how many 7 billion people on the planet, and that there has to be at least one other person, although, you know, probably more like 100,000 other people who could do for you what this person does for you. And my encouragement to you would be to find someone else, because and find someone who is happy to be giving you back what you're giving them, because it feels like you worked too hard for what you were getting back, and it was like crumbs, right? I love the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and there's a song on the show of love kernels. You know, he's giving me love kernels, right? Where it's just like little kernels that I hope that keep me stringing along. Don't settle for kernels. You deserve better.
I love that.
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
That's so great.
And we do that, don't we? Like when we get wrapped up with someone and we have a relationship, and then we have that relationship and it ends. It's so human nature to look out and say, you know, just remember the good parts. But often that just means it's time for us to become the next, you know, step into our power and move forward in life. And, you know, they say relationships last a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? Like, and so I feel so grateful for the relationships I've been able to work through. Well, I mean, all of them, right? But I can think back to, especially when I was a young woman, and I would hang on to those relationships that didn't last for so long because I was so afraid to become me, right? And so often, you know, I feel if you think back about those relationships ending, and this is for you, Anna, it really, and for all of us that go through this, it really, in the releasing of that and just allowing the universe to send you what's right for you, you also become what's right for you. Like when you're willing to just step into and explore that part of us. I always think that all the relationships that I had that ended, that love still exists, but it's like I got to stand on it and get stronger and grow from that. Anyway, so that was my 2 cents.
That's great. I would add
that
one
was really
thing.
Great what you said. So that just inspired me to think about that. Yeah.
I would add one thing to that, which is I often, anytime you tell somebody you're psychic, they're like, oh, when am I finding love? That's like the first question everybody asks you, right? And
sure,
my answer is you'll find it when you're the person that the other person would be attracted to.
Absolutely.
Right. I teach that. Like I teach people to write a list of everything you want in a partner, and that's your list of what you were meant to become. Yeah. Right. Like that's your job. Go be that, and you can't help but to attract that.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. So I'm running away with the circus, ladies.
Totally true.
I'm going. That's true. I'm going. I'm out.
Kelly, I have a question regarding when you made that huge move and you were surrounded, like Auntie Mame, by all those wild, incredible, rich characters that you were. Were you like looking around like, holy crap, this is my life now? I can't even believe I'm going from real estate agent to this in such a short time? Or were you kind of like, yep, this is exactly what I thought would happen?
You know what's so funny is that the first year after I wiped the slate clean, I woke up every morning going, oh my God, I love my life.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And it was total alignment.
It was so like, I would have a thought about, oh, I can't buy this because my husband will give me a hard time, or I can't do that because I'm da, 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 and I'd be like, no, I can't. Yeah, I can. I can do whatever the hell I want right now. And I love my life. It took me a year to get used to the idea that that was my life. And I would wake up in such gratitude. And it took a whole year for me to go and just like fully exhale from the stress monkey I had become in that life. Right.
It was like you were the Whitman sampler and you were like in a part of this amazing, incredible group of tasty treats, and they're amazing. And you were so confined in that Twix package with these 2 little sticks. And it's like,
awesome.
That's exactly what I pictured in my head when you're saying that. I'm like, she was with all the chocolates. It was like amazing.
I have a question though. I'm dying to know, like, bringing it forward, what you're doing now, and like how, like what your day looks like, and what you're doing with people. I'm really interested to know.
Yeah, great question again. You guys have some really great questions.
We told you we were so excited.
Kelly, we're
Yeah.
going to have you on a million times, Kelly.
I would love that.
Kelly's
I would
gotta
love
come
that. So I'm having a great time. So what I'm doing now is I'm running my mystery school, right?
Mm.
And so the mystery school is designed to take people who are from the moment they begin their discovery process. So if you think about it as if you look at the process of evolution that people go through, right? And they start out with, there's got to be more to life than this. And then they go searching usually in the spiritual world, right? For a solution, which they're thinking is going to be the magic pill, that matrix pill that gets you the awareness, right? And so they end up in the spiritual world going, ooh, crystals, ooh, tarot cards, ooh, everything, right? And they go, holy crap, this stuff really works. I must tell everyone I know and drag them out to classes with me so that they don't think I'm nuts, right? And there's this whole process
Oh
that
my
they
God,
go through.
sounds like my entire 20s.
Right, exactly. And then they get lost, right? Then they get lost for 2 to 5 years in the bright and shiny. It's, I've got to take a crystal class and an angel class, and I've got to learn how to be a Reiki master, and and how can I be psychic, and how can I do this, and the bright and shiny of, oh, this whole new world, let me learn about it, takes over and distracts them from the fact that they weren't happy. And then somewhere around the 2 to 5 year mark, the awareness that it hasn't made them happy kicks in. And they go, wait a minute, I'm not happy. This isn't the magic pill I thought it was. It's cool, don't get me wrong, I like it, but it's not making me happy. And then they start to do this process of self-reflection, right? And so, you go through these stages, and when you finally get to the point where you go, there is no magic pill out there, the magic pill is in here, right? When you get that, and you acknowledge it and you stop searching, that's when you start doing the real inner work. And that's when I really start to work with people. My podcast is actually set up to catch people at the discovery phase and move them all the way through till that stage it's like, hey, you're coming in looking for these cool things. Here, let me shorten this distance to the time it takes you to binge instead of losing 2 to 5 years. That's what I designed the podcast to do, was if you binge 10, 15 episodes, you'll move through that process much faster, right? And so that's what I did there. And then the mystery school itself takes people from that discovery phase through the healing stages. And then the healing stages are, you've got to first find emotional safety. Because until you feel emotionally safe, and until you stop feeling like you're constantly under attack, that the other shoe's going to drop when everything's going well, that somebody's going to be angry at you, whatever, then you don't have the bandwidth to change, to grow.
Right.
Because it requires leaving your comfort zone, and you can't be more uncomfortable. Your bandwidth is completely done, right? So you have to find that emotional safety first. That's step 1. Step 2 is to solidify your energetic container and your sense of self, your identity. That will also consolidate your power base. Okay. And so that makes you solid as a person. It makes you comfortable in your own skin, right? And then, and only then, can you do the thing that everybody tries to start with, which is the shadow work. And the shadow work is that part of digging up all the dark icky bits that you don't want to look at, that you think are ugly and whatever, and looking at all the buttons and the triggers that send you flying, right? And so the goal of that stage is to get yourself to the point where where all of your baggage is neatly labeled, carry-on sized, and there's a toolkit on top that shows you how to deal with it from there on
I
out.
love
right?
that.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so that's the first 3 steps in the mystery school that I run is, that inner peace 101, finding emotional safety, and then mastering spiritual evolution and getting solid, and then mastering inner healing. And then I go into a higher level of the mystery school after that, where we start working on energetics and things like that. And when I do the work with people in the lower levels, I'm also doing it not just on a mental, emotional level, but also on an energetic one. So for instance, you guys are all empaths, right? And so all my people are empaths. So the very first thing that I do for people, I was like, I'm like, come onto the website, download the Boundaries for Empaths program, because it's free. And every empath on the planet needs to have this. So please share it with your friends, right?
Wow.
Because if you've ever been run over by other people's strong emotions, if
Yeah.
you've ever not been able to break up with somebody because you just can't be without them, if you've ever been in a position where you've been called intimidating by everyone around you, these are all things that empaths go through, and it's a function of how you're holding your energy. And so, the energy just needs to be adjusted as to how you hold it. And suddenly your whole life looks different. Your whole energy feels different. You feel safer, and you are safer to be around. And so all of these things together, and if you've ever tried to do a shield as an empath and had it not work, you'll understand why when you look at how you're holding your energy field, because it makes perfect sense at that point. So, these are all the things that there's an energetic piece that you have to know how to do if you're going to really master yourself, because you are also your energy field, right?
Right.
So we talk about clearing your field, and we talk about talking to your guides and doing basic divination and setting up altars for yourself and everything that you need to do, setting a sacred container for yourself, all of these things for doing your own inner work.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So is this like different courses that people take, or is it like you sign up to work with you and you take the person through all of these different courses?
No, it's different courses. They're online.
Okay.
So the courses are, in fact, I don't teach the first one. My coach teaches that, but it is, they are online learning content with a discussion group, not on Facebook, and and coaching calls twice a month in very small groups. So like no more than 12 people.
That's
so
awesome.
Because you've really got to, so I've been writing the material in this since 2000. And basically what happened was when I went on Walkabout in 2002, I sat down and I wrote all of this content, right? And on one day I wrote 45 pages of content from the stuff I had learned in the previous 3-5 years, right? And then from that point forward, every time I did something and it worked, I wrote it down.
It's awesome.
And so I built it as a book initially, and at 65 pages in, the man I had been living with for a year and a half said, "Oh, I'll edit it for you." And he took it with him on the plane to his parents' house for the weekend. And he flew down, and in the process of flying down and flying back, he read it forwards, backwards, and forwards again to make sure it was consistent. And then walked in the door like this. Ow. Man, he was for a year and a half. So he knew some of this stuff. And he's like, ow. And I'm like, what? He said, you need to put a label on this book that says, do not read this book too fast or your head will explode.
Wow.
Okay. And that was at 65 pages. And it was 185 pages when I turned it into my programs.
Okay.
And it was the first 2 programs that have those 185 pages. The third program is something else that was past that. So, but I used to give it away as a book to people that I knew and who were like, how do I do this? And what I found was they would get to a certain point and they would stop. And I would say, okay, did you ever finish the book? I could come back 3 months, 6 years later and said, did you ever finish the book? And every single person said, no, but I'm actively thinking about chapter X. And it would be a different chapter every time. And I would say, okay, well, how long have you been thinking about it? 3 months, 2 years. And I'm like, you're stuck. And they're like,
Right.
I am? Yeah, you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh,
Right.
okay. And then, so I was like, yeah, I can't do it as a book. That was my test to see if I could do it as a book. And the answer was no, because they didn't even know they were stuck. Right. And so that's why I turned it into a program, because it really does need the coaching.
That's awesome.
With it.
That's
So
awesome.
can you talk a little bit, Kelly, how we would find your program? Because the people that are watching right now are like, okay, where do I sign? How do I sign up? What do I do?
Yeah. So it's on my website at kellesparta.com. It's KELLE, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same, if you look on the homepage, the very first, you have to do the programs in order. So the very first program is Inner Peace 101. And that's the Finding Emotional Safety one. It's if you scroll down past the top stuff, it's right there on the homepage. And so you can't miss it. The free download is on the left underneath my picture. So you should definitely do that. And there is a way, if you're more advanced, I am launching a program in the beginning of the year that's called Evolve with Sacred Energetics. And it is a custom designed program for people who are further along in their process, who don't want to have to go back to the beginning and start over, but want to be able to access the higher levels of this work, to come in and do a customized process that is really super intensive. And they get to work with me and with my partners, Kathy, who is also a transformational shaman, and Charlemagne Tremont, who is a badass priestess. And both of them have huge amounts of their own backgrounds and things. In fact, I should send them to you guys. You guys would love them as guests.
Yes,
Yeah, awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, love that.
The three of us are working together, and collectively we have over 100 years of experience in spirituality and 75 years of experience, or 70 years experience in doing ritual.
Wow.
And so, so we're launching that program in January. And so you asked what my day looked like, Kim. So I just came back from Detroit, where I spent the weekend with Kathy and Charlemagne designing this program and putting everything together and making it ready to go, and getting ready for the next stage after that as well. So
awesome.
That is amazing. I cannot believe that we are at the 57-minute mark already.
Oh, no.
I feel like we just got started.
I feel like we just got started. I feel like I have to, it's my responsibility as the host to at least give a 3-minute warning.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be rude of me if I didn't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is there anything, Kelly, that you want to let our audience know that maybe we just didn't touch on? Because we definitely have to have you back on again if you would do so, because this was amazing. This was an amazing night. I really enjoyed. Fascinating. Yeah, I totally enjoyed it. Yeah,
I nothing for me. I would like to give just a thought. If you want to excel in spiritual work, the very first thing you have to keep in mind is that you have to let go of the goal of excelling in spiritual work.
That's awesome.
Because any goal you hold is set in the future, and you can only do spiritual work in the present.
Yeah.
And every time you hold yourself up to a goal, you set yourself up for judging yourself for not being there fast enough. And that judgment is inherently resistance to the growth that you're trying to do.
Wow.
So,
I think that was for Tracy.
Kelly, I'm always the slave driver. Like, we've got to get this done. We've got to be doing this. We've got to. That's why they're yelling at me.
No, that's not what I even meant.
No.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Awesome. That was great.
That's some amazing food for thought. Wow,
Kelly, I am blown away. I know we all are. You are. First of all, I want to say thank you. Your energy is off the charts. We love a powerhouse woman, and you are a powerhouse.
I have to know when your birthday is. I've been wanting to ask you the whole time.
November 1st.
Okay, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, Scorpio. Scorpio, Cancer moon.
Okay.
And Libra rising.
So
Scorpio,
cool.
Cancer
Is that what you
moon.
thought, Donna? Is that what your vibe was?
I just feel you're very fiery. You're very fiery.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I love it.
I tell people I like to go down into the muck with you and love you like a mother until you come up out of it. That's my thing. It's like I'm happiest when we're down in the muck and the mud.
That's great. That's
Well,
amazing.
we have a lot of people that are down in the muck and the mud. I love it. This is so exciting. Oh my gosh, Kelle. I want to say you are incredible. I love your power. And Donna's going to put up all the links of how people can get a hold of you. Because I know, as sure as I'm sitting here, that people are going to be like, we love Kelle. How do we get a hold of her? How do we work with her? What do we do? So we'll have all those links up. Ladies, is there anything else other than thank you, Kelle? And when Kelle, I'm seriously like, when can we have her on again? Now, underline, triple underline.
Exactly.
Get this girl back. Oh, you are incredible.
I would love it. Let's do it in January because that would be a delicious way to start the new year.
Sure, I'm game. I'll come on as often as you want me.
Oh, that's amazing. We love it.
So many stories. Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. It's exciting. You feel familiar. You feel like home, which is really just so special and so sweet. And I thank you so much. This was a pleasure to meet you. I can't wait to go binge your podcast now.
I know. I've got it. Seriously, I've got it all written down.
I'm not even a podcast listener because my brain. You are, but as soon as she said, she's like, if you want to listen to them, you can binge it. I was like, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome. So funny, Donna, that you said that because Kelle, that's exactly how I feel when Donna said you feel like home. You feel like somebody that I've known forever. I'm like, whoop, I love her energy. I love everything about it. I'm very excited. I know this is obviously not going to be the only time that we speak, but Kim, Kim is like chomping at the bit. We know Kim's facial expressions. Go ahead, Kim. I see you.
I just had so much fun. I feel like I need to learn so much more about what you do. It's really, really cool. It just sounds so well thought out and so interesting, and that you could be with people from the beginning to the end is really like until present. From the beginning till present is just beautiful, and I'm definitely aligned with what you teach. So I think it's pretty cool. I'm
so motivated to join the circus.
Come to the circus. We have cookies.
I'm there.
Cookies and costumes.
Cookies and costumes. I mean, I have
costumes too.
I'll just put my
lots of costumes.
Oh, perfect.
Feather belts, whips, chains, you name it. Whatever.
Got it all, kids.
Wait, don't even get me started.
She's got it all.
I've got everything. I feel like it's like Gallagher. It's really, you have no idea what's happening over here.
Sad that my costume box is in the next room.
I knew it. I met a kindred spirit.
Donna's costume box. Wherever she goes. That is phenomenal.
That's it. I live in a costume box. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I know we pull. I don't think we even need a message. I think the message is very clear tonight.
Kelle, yeah.
The message is Kelle. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing and sharing. We will be back 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week, where we will be discussing our creating, which will be our private group for open-minded mystics for the 27th. And I'm really excited, and thank you so much. We love you too, Connie. Have a great night, Jerry Reesby. And thank you so much for being here. She said, thank you so much. It's awesome. And what a great night. For everyone that's watching and didn't comment, you know what? We see you. And thank you very much for being here. Good night.
Good night.